We have a very special guest in studio today. He is the owner of Fox Company Yoga, the great and powerful Tim Applebaum. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, excited to get you in here, man. You and I met at Revive, man, years ago. I want to say it was. I mean, probably close to. It was at the first Revive. Like pretty short after they opened, and we were kind of talking before the show. You're still training there today, but not as frequently as you used to.
No, and apologies to Junior.
Yeah.
I will train, I promise. And I've said it 5,000 times, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. So that was during COVID, and I was still cage fighting at the time, and Watson's was all masked up and all kinds of messed up, but St. Charles was free game.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, let's go. And ended up me trying to get a knee bar in an MMA fight and getting my face plastered in. So
Was that
It's
your
good.
last fight?
that was my last fight.
So how many did you have in total?
3.
3.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just decided to hang them up.
Yeah. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks.
Really?
And I had concussion symptoms for like 2-3 years.
Whoa.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm 30. I was a breacher in the military, so I've had all the explosive damage to my brain. Probably need to call it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that until you filled out our questionnaire that you served in the military. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that a little bit. So what kind of led you down that path?
I was one of those kids playing with army men as a kid, and then grew up watching all the wars and stuff, wishing I could be there. And then I went to college for Mizzou. I tried to enlist like 3 times, including on my 16th and 17th birthday, which is totally illegal. My mom would not sign off on that. But then I got convinced to go to college and join the officer program for the Marines. But then, going to Mizzou, 18 years old, get a 1.8 GPA. And then they closed down Iraq while I was at Mizzou, partying my face off. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch these wars my whole life and never get to actually go. So I dropped out, enlisted infantry, and got in. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Wow.
And then when I got back to Mizzou, 3.5 GPA. So
Hey, there you go.
there you go. Advertisements. Don't just hang up on recruiters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The military can actually fix your child.
Wow.
Yeah. Who else was it that was on here that said the same thing? Is it Keith?
Might have been Keith.
I think it was Keith. Because, it was because he went back and got his MBA at Wash
That's
U.
right. Yeah.
And he's like, I was a terrible fucking student heading into that. But like after, like when I first went to college, he went to junior college and struggled, and then was in the military. And then after the military, he got his master's degree at Wash U, which Wash U, Harvard of the Midwest. Like he's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, I was a 4.0 student.
Now, taking mine was an elementary education, so I had finger painting class. But still, a 1.8 to a 3.3, not so bad.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
That's solid.
But I loved the Marines, It was my life, that hero's journey arc that everyone talks about. That was my hero's journey arc, was finally getting to go overseas and join the Marines.
And you served, and you did go overseas, and you had a tour over, and you said in Afghanistan, right?
Yep, we did Afghanistan, 2-4, Magnificent Bastards, and we did Musa Kala.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So Musa Kala was the capital of Helmand province. So when Obama did that whole surge thing, and he sent all the Marines to Helmand province, which had been owned by the Brits and was just pretty wild at the time. And so then I got put in there in 2011, a year after enlisting. So it was pretty cool. So I enlisted, went through all the training. A year later, I'm overseas. And it ended up being, we dropped into our outpost on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. So coming into a helicopter under nods into a combat outpost, which is just some dude's house that we took over on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. Pretty sick.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. So what was your what was your responsibilities in the military?
So I was an assaultman. So I did all the explosives and all the rockets. So 16-year-old anarchist, like fuck the world, Tim was super happy getting to play with C4.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, we're the guys who put the C4 on the door, blow it off, go in. But over there was a lot of putting holes in walls because the entirety of Helmand province is a minefield due to the mine density and all the IEDs. So a lot of times it was, hey, blow a hole in this wall so we don't have to use the door because the door is probably mined.
Hmm.
So that was a lot of what we did. And then, still doing the whole running and gunning and being in the infantry deal.
What any crazy stories or incidences that you care to talk about or okay to talk about?
Oh yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to tell war stories?
Yeah,
We'll just go to the bars at 9:00 at night and we can do this for 4 hours. Now, the story I usually like to tell is the op that we went on. It was the dumbest op, but it illustrates the worst of times, the best of times, which is that military moniker, right? And so we get sent out on this op. They give us vehicles that aren't even serviceable. So you have a vehicle and then you have a mine roller in front of it that's supposed to hit the bomb before it hits the vehicle.
So what's a mine roller? Is it just a car?
It's like 7 to 8 wheels in front of you, or 6 wheels, whatever, that drive in front of you so it hits the bomb rather than the vehicle hitting the bomb.
Okay, so it's just like something you attach to the front of the car?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a reverse trailer. It goes in the front.
It goes in the front. Okay.
So they give us mine rollers with 3 wheels, which are technically not allowed to drive.
Right.
Because we're Marines, we do whatever we want. And we had no comms in our trucks. All the antennas were broken. So we're supposed to go on this op for 3 days. And we start the op, we drive down, we're with the Georgians, like the Eastern Europe Georgians. And then, so before we get there, we have to stop at an army base. Well, none of our comms are working. We have these 3-wheeled mine rollers. Everything's fucked. And so in the middle of the night, or in Minecraft, or possibly we may have gone out in the middle of the night and took all the Army's antennas, took all their antennas off, put it on all of our shit for trying to fuck us, and then continued on the op, kept going. And then we get there, and it's easy work. We're just guarding this road. Like, we're just setting up one truck here, making sure no one lays IEDs, because they were getting hit by like 500-pounder vehicle killers.
Oh, wow.
And so we get on the stop. We're just, you take a shift, we take a shift. You take a shift, we take a shift. Pretty easy going.
So you're just like watching?
Watching the road, maybe patrol every now and again, escorting convoys. And so it turns to cold. Well, we didn't have any of our cold weather gear because it's a 3-day op. I'm not bringing all my stuff. I'm bringing this backpack. And so we go from being blazing hot to freezing cold, and none of us had cold weather gear. So we found out that the Afghans had pallets full of blankets given to them by the government. So in the middle of the night, we sneak out, just like with the antennas, take all those fuzzy purple blankets and then hide them in our sleeping bags to so that if someone walks by, they'll never know. So we just went and jacked all their stuff in the middle of the night. And then it was the worst of times because we're on 1 meal a day. We're hanging out with the Georgians. So they're eating gulag food. Like, they're giving themselves like 3 or 4 bowls of soup a day and only giving us 1. And then we found out the tanks we were attached to, because we were supposed to be protecting and working with tanks, they sucked. They lost like 4 or 5 tanks the entire time. And it got yelled at by like the leader of all of the U.S. forces in Afghanistan. Like, how are you losing 4 tanks? They're just sitting still in a field. Well, they were falling asleep on post, and then the Taliban would come and plant an IED behind them, and then they would drive off in the morning and get blown up. So they were getting class 1s, which were energy drinks, cake, cookies, like all the good stuff. And they weren't sharing it with us, even though we were attached to them.
Were they told not to share, or they just weren't sharing? Like,
they were being dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, being Marines, bringing that proud tradition of scrounging, we went out in the middle of the night. Same thing as the blankets. Went out, stole all the cakes, cookies, all the things. We did it so bad every night that they had to put a guard on their cookies and cake, and one of them had to stay up extra because we were thieving so bad.
Wow.
And so this 3-day op turns into a month and a half, freezing cold. The Georgians aren't giving us food. We're on MRE plus 1 bowl of soup a day. No shaving, no boot bands, no uniform, no shower for a month and a half, no nothing, just doing this nonsense. And then finally, the proudest moment of my Marine Corps career is like one of the top 5 Marines, RCT 5 Sergeant Major, flies in, like some general flies in this huge entourage to see what we've been doing, to see what the base has been doing. We roll up on our truck, no gear, no protective things, no weapons. Someone had a speaker. We were playing Eazy-E. Like, we're just whipping it. All the doors are open because they had dropped us off supplies too, finally. And so we whip it up and we're unloading the supplies. And I just see the Sergeant Major get out of the helicopter. And he looks right at us with like no shaves, t-shirts, shorts, no weapons, no gear, no nothing. He's like, the fuck is that? And we're like, oh shit, we're in trouble. So we had to quickly run out. And then our staff sergeant, who was a gangster from Belize, like a legit gold-tooth gangster.
Really?
He was awesome. He stood up to the sergeant major and was like, hey, if you want, you can bring them razors. They're not shaving, they're not showering, they're not doing nothing until they get it, because they were only supposed to be here for 3 days. and they've been on like one meal a day and no one's sharing, like all this other nonsense, right? And so he stood up for us, which was awesome and gangster, but we still cleaned up. And so turns out the entire op, we were escorting, like there's these mine detecting vehicles, these EOD vehicles, and they're behind us in our 3-wheeled mine rollers. Turns out the entire op was just because when they have an escort, they can go 3 miles per hour more. So this whole op, getting hit by 500 pounders or 120s or all these different things, this one meal a day was all for 3 miles an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah, and you didn't know that when you're doing it.
You don't know when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How
but
frustrating was that to hear that?
It's frustrating, but like I said, it was the best of times because like we were having slap fights, we were having wrestling matches with the Georgians, we were stealing wood from the Georgians, making bonfires in the middle of the night, like all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And the work was easy. We're just escorting. You work, I work. You work, I work. Getting good sleep for the first time in the deployment. And so it was best of times, worst of times. Gotcha. For 3 miles an hour.
That's wild, man. Wow. Well, since then, since coming back home, just from talking to you, it sounds like you've gotten way more into breath work, mindfulness, stuff like that. Was that anything like on your mind back then, or is that something that kind of?
Yeah, I first did yoga in high school with hockey. My back was so tight, I was crying myself to sleep every night. And so they're like, what are we going to do? Well, we can't spend money at the chiropractor or this. So someone told me to go to a yoga class. So I think I did my first yoga class in high school. And then I kind of stuck with it, kind of didn't. And I was also doing jiu-jitsu at the time. And so it kind of melded into that also. And so yoga and jiu-jitsu go really well hand in hand. And so I kept it with me, but it was all just physical practice. The one time I did yoga in the military was we had the staff sergeant roided out. He was like, he hated me, hated my guts. And he was like benching, deadlifting, injecting fucking steroids. And then I would sit in front of him or like off to the side and do yoga in front of him just to piss him off even more.
Yeah, yoga doesn't seem like something that's you probably see in the military too often.
Definitely not. Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite of
the
mindset that you probably want your soldiers in.
Well, it's weird. It goes in waves. So like Marines are always Marines, right? But like you have your like the people who invaded Iraq and Afghanistan generation. Then you have your like Ramadi, Fallujah, like those generations. And then you have your Afghanistan later on guys who are playing Minesweeper in real life. Mm-hmm. And it's like there's different breaks in those generations where you can see like little differences here and there. And so by the time it was in Afghanistan, it was probably a little more acceptable. But if like a staff sergeant who was from the earlier generation that was just like fat lip chewing, like drinking or eating ripped fuel and ephedrine products just to stay awake while they're invading Iraq, saw you doing yoga, probably not acceptable. Right?
Sure. That makes sense.
So, I mean, you went from being a Navy officer and breaching doors in Afghanistan, and what drew you toward that kind of chaos in the first place?
I mean, I was a Marine Lance Corporal, and I always loved being in the fight. You know, I always loved violence, but I never like had this ability to use violence for bad. Mm-hmm. So like as soon as I could hit people in hockey, soccer's gone, basketball gone, baseball's gone. I'm hitting people in hockey. I'm fighting. Hockey for? In the beginning, Kirkwood.
Okay.
And then later on, Westminster.
Gotcha. So
once I could hit people.
Play with Daniel Kim?
Oh, yeah.
So I play men's league hockey with those guys.
We probably played together. I played a few games for them the past couple years.
Sandies?
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday nights?
Dan Kaufman.
Oh, yeah.
Stillman, all the boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We probably were in the same locker room and just didn't know it.
Didn't realize it, yeah.
Good. St. Louis for you. Yeah. Everybody knows everybody. It's 1 or 2 degrees of separation.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. Anytime someone comes in here and talks about hockey, it's like Pat somehow knows somebody that they know, or like it's such a small community.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, to play hockey in St. Louis and continue hockey in St. Louis, small community.
Oh, yeah. Because there's only a few places that you can really play. But yeah, that's funnier than shit. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, once someone took a slash at my goalie and I got to punch him in the face as like a 10 or 11-year-old, like, you're selling me. There you go. So I always loved violence, but always like using it for good. I was never like a bully or anything like that. And so that continued into jiu-jitsu, that continued into the Marines, that continued into cage fighting later on. Just always wanting to be in the fight, that grit, that determination, that challenging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, do you think the traits that make someone an elite soldier can also make them self-destructive in civilian life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's some things you want to keep from the military and there's some things you don't want to keep. You know, waking up at 6 a.m. and getting to work, or when someone gives you something to do, doing it right then and not putting it off, probably great traits. And then you're talking about these upper echelon guys, these special operations guys, they're all about ability and results in this. You know, the normal infantry we're just mission accomplishment, true. But we're getting through this and we're going to do it with a sledgehammer rather than a scalpel. So where you see a lot of people go wrong coming from the military to civilian life is they still keep that sledgehammer. But now they have nowhere to put it. So that's why I always recommend jiu-jitsu or MMA or something like that, so you have somewhere to put it. Because if you just take away that sledgehammer and say you can't use it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
it just grows and it eats and it's inside of you, and then it comes out with a road rage incident. Or now you're angry with your kids, or now you're violent towards a spouse or something else, right? It never goes away. So you need to give that a channel to go towards, rather than just saying, I don't hold a sledgehammer anymore.
Right.
And it's the same for athletes too. Like a lot of like high school varsity level athletes, the last time they like actually cared about a game, not men's league, like fight to the death, like football game or basketball game, was in high school. Well, jiu-jitsu is the only sport to replicate that, because as you get older, it doesn't get lessened. You can still go out and kill people in your 40s. You can still go out and smash someone in your 50s. Who cares? You're going to be doing it against another 40-year-old, another 50-year-old, but it's not like men's slow pitch softball. So you can still flex that same like varsity athlete military muscle, even with jiu-jitsu or yoga also.
Yeah,
Yoga is more about balancing than about flexing that muscle.
Yeah. So I was going to say, so like, do you feel, because of how long you have been doing yoga and then doing yoga while you were in the military, do you feel like that's helped you cope and move through things better than, say, a soldier that's not?
Oh, for sure. You know, when I first got out, you go to the VA, they give you their duffel bag of medication.
Mm-hmm.
This is wrong with you. That's wrong with you. You're a broken toy. You can't do anything else in your life, right? But, and then they gave me this sleep app that was the most angelic yogi, like, all right, now look at the clouds and picture the sun and this. Like, I just got out of the infantry. I was in Afghanistan a year ago. Like, I can't deal with this at all. And so I found a guy, Brian McKenzie, who was in John Jones' corner for one of his MMA fights. And his only job was to focus on his breath. And he had been training him in breath. And so I looked up Brian McKenzie and went through his programming and learned from him all about breath and the nervous system. And eventually that got me off most of the duffel bag of medication.
Nice.
So breath work for sure helped with my transition. And then yoga in general also, you know, you can make it as specific as you want a bending spine, not a stiff spine. You want a flexible life. You don't want a stiff life, you know, or you can go a little bit further in depth, but yoga definitely helps.
It's awesome.
So what was the single hardest thing to readjust when you came back home?
You know that episode of The Office where Dwight is, where Michael tries to jump off the roof into the like fun house, where Daryl looks at me, he's like, your fun little nerfy life, always safe. It's like you come back and now you're in this nerfy life where no one's trying to kill you and you don't have a mission every day. You don't have purpose. You don't have community. And one of the big things that I always talk about with other veterans is all of your problems are solvable in the moment when you're in the military. You're hungry, eat. You have the ability to sleep. You're tired. Mission needs to be accomplished. Let's go. The Taliban are over there. We're going to go take over that city. Once you get out, you have a lot more ambiguous problems. Am I successful? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Well, we're not programmed for that. We're programmed for they're there. Let's go kill them. And so that problem solving is one of dealing with these ambiguous problems is something that a lot of veterans struggle with.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because we want to fix everything right there in the moment. And we'll go 3,000% at it. We'll run through a wall for it. But not every problem in civilian life is like that. So you come back into this nerfy little life. That was probably the hardest thing. Like I threw my phone against the wall, like within 3 days of being back. Cause I'm like, I just live with this thing that beeps at me every 30 seconds. I get a text message and I have to respond or I'm an asshole Like, no, that's not a thing. So just adjusting back to that.
It's wild, man. Well, you mentioned the duffel bag of medication and, and then kind of talked about how discovering breath work with, what's that guy's name? Mackenzie?
Brian McKenzie of Shift Adapt.
Yeah.
They actually run all the cardio for the UFC PI now.
Wow. Damn, that's awesome. So was there a moment when you realized that like this breath work actually really works? Like, do you remember that moment?
I can't pick an exact moment, but just a general wellness over time. It wasn't like, oh, this is magic. What I usually turn people to is Wim Hof, because it takes you from breath, oh, I do that 1,000 times a day. Like, I breathe, what's the big deal? To, oh, if I change my breath in this way, I can feel something. So I usually start people off like, oh, you think breath is nothing? Go do Wim Hof. And then tell me if you want to get more specific, or tell me if the breath is just you breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, speaking of Wim Hof, I listened to one of Josh McKinney's episodes right before the IBJJF 3 weeks ago now. And, he linked a Wim Hof video. And I was like, all right, before, before I went out, about 30, 40 minutes before my match, I sat down, like did the, 10-minute little YouTube breathing. And I was like, I felt so like dialed in afterwards and like calm, but like focused, and like it definitely like kind of changes your chemistry a little bit. I really liked it.
Yeah, so that's where I started, was working with athletes and breath. Not this whole like yoga, metaphysical, mental health kind of thing that I'm in now. But at first it was just working with teammates of jiu-jitsu and fighters and athletes in a powerlifting gym, things like that. And so, so getting to see people who I've helped with jiu-jitsu at their tournaments, like I did a jiu-jitsu tournament without doing your breath work and your warm-up, and I did it with it. And I was so much better after I did it. Because what you're doing is, it's like on a run. The worst part of the run is like the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you get in that zone, right? Because your body's, your body's going that 60 miles an hour, but your nervous system still thinks you're in your car. So with that breath, you're bridging that gap to making it less of a schism. And so you're picking that nervous system up so that they travel together, rather than I'm cold, now I'm in a jiu-jitsu match, fight for my life. You're bridging that gap.
Yeah, the first time I was introduced to it, I wasn't playing baseball. It was my second to last off season. I was training with somebody. He actually has a gym out in Creve Coeur called E3, and that's where I was first introduced to breath work in terms of working out and how it can affect your performance. And I mean, from then on, I would get to the field and the Reds would, in like the first 30 minutes when we were there, we would implement breathwork stuff. Mm-hmm. So no, it was great. And just the flexibility, and just pain-free, I guess I could say, like from stretching and all that, like I just felt better.
Yeah.
And then I did not doing it. So it was always just a part of my plan every time from then on out that, I wish I would have found it sooner. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then I got a breathworks massage, and it was there. Yeah, she was part of this networking group that I was in, and she specialized in breathwork. And I went to her studio and did a breathwork massage, and honestly, like I felt like I was high.
Oh yeah,
it was incredible. Like it was the best massage I've ever had, and I felt like just like the whole time she's running me through these breathworks while she's massaging me, and I felt like I was floating on cloud nine.
Oh yeah, that you're getting into the muscle, the fascia, and the breath, and it's just like the most relaxed. You're hitting every single level that you could. Yeah,
incredible.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, yeah. So you mentioned your knockout in MMA. What was the emotional come down like after that, and kind of is that what kind of ultimately led you into this yoga path?
I was already on it.
Oh, you were. Okay.
And so after my first fight, I had a really bad breakup. And I got back on all the duffel bag of medication and all the things. And then I was like, this is not sustainable. And so
what kind of medicine they have you on?
They keep trying to do Zoloft, clonazepam, like Xanax, sleeping, like all the things. Benzos, when your nervous system is too high, that's an anxiety attack.
Right.
So I need to manually shift that back down. You can do that with pharmacology.
Right.
But for me, that's not sustainable. I don't know what it is.
I don't think it's sustainable for anybody.
No.
It shouldn't be. they talk about how bad the diazepines are for you, and like, I mean, them and benzos and alcohol are the only ones that can kill you. Like if you just quit them cold turkey, like it creates such a dependency on them. And I mean, I don't think it's good to be dependent on anything.
Exactly. And then you hit that line, you hit that edge where you start to feel dope sick, or I need more, or you get to dangerous levels or dependency and things like that. And so you need a healthy alternative, right? Where you're still getting that healing feeling, but you're also not doing with pharmacology that's jacking up your physiology. So yoga, breathwork's a great way, but with the duffel bag of medication. Oh, so I had the breakup, got on the benzodiazepines, hard and heavy. And I was like, I cannot live like this. Hit my red line. And then I was introduced to psilocybin. And so I did a psilocybin thing, trying to get over this breakup, trying to work through it. And then within that, it was like, hey, dude, you've always loved yoga. Like, why don't you ever give teaching yoga a shot? And so I was like, fuck it.
Mushrooms told you this?
The mushrooms told me, well, the trip, the mushrooms, my own subconscious, who knows? Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And so I was like, fuck it. So the next day I signed up for a teacher training, fell in love with it, was still fighting at the time, still had 2 more fights. And then just went from there. And so now studio owner, yoga. I got my beads on and everything, like every other yoga person. Yeah.
So what was that experience like, opening up your own studio?
It's rough. Yeah. I've always done things by my dreams. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to go to war. I went to war. When I was a teenager, I wanted to fight in a cage. I fought in a cage. But like being a business owner was never in that timeline. And so it's hard to open this business and go through all the things without like that dream drive from back in the day. So it's great, but it's so difficult because it's ambiguous. I could sit down and work for 8 hours, go knock on every house, go leave flyers at every business, pay a bunch of money for marketing, and it still might not be successful. And so it's one of those ambiguous problems, ambiguous things where you kind of just have to be in the flow and be cool with the flow and the up and the down, because some days it's good, some days it's bad. But I think we're doing a lot of good and helping people. And so I
How
deal
long have you guys
with
been open?
coming up on 3 years.
Okay. Awesome.
You're in Wildwood?
Wildwood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great location.
It is.
Yeah. What made you pick that?
Eventually I want to live on like land.
Okay.
And so opening up a place in the city gets me farther from that. Opening up a place in Wildwood gets me closer to that. So that was a thought process, and it worked out perfect. We got the space. The problem when you're finding a yoga studio is you have to build a room into it. So most yoga studios are 2 properties side by side, where one's the lobby, one's the practicing room, but that's way too much money for me. So we found one that was a horizontal unit where we didn't have to build anything into. Because with ADA, trying to find that 5 foot to get to the bathroom and then building a wall around. So we found the perfect property. It's a nice little horizontal property, not a vertical property. And we're banging it out.
Sweet.
There you go. That's awesome.
It's amazing. And where did the name come from?
Well, I wanted to tie together my military service, like past with my present, right? And we had a bunch of not professional nicknames. And so we were the bastards, the cavemen, the like undisciplined cowboys. We had all these terrible nicknames that could not go on the side of a business. I just kept thinking and thinking and thinking over time. And finally, Fox Company sounded professional enough, but it was still my company in the Marines.
That's cool. That's real cool. I like it. No, it's unique. I mean, I've never heard of anything else called Fox Company. So it's cool. I like it.
It also sounds like it could be like a Fox Company Trading Limited, like some store at the mall.
Yeah.
So it's like a nice middle ground.
Yeah, for sure. If it didn't have yoga on the back of it, I'd have no idea what it means.
Exactly.
But it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, those in the military, they come up with some pretty unique names. How did you guys come up with Fox Company?
So that's it's funny because we were Fox, call sign Fox. So usually you have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox. Like those are your set companies. Those don't change. But usually you get a cool nickname, which is your radio call sign. Like Easy Echo or like Raider 6 or blah, blah, blah. We couldn't decide on one. And so we were Fox, call sign Fox, the only unit that used our company name as our call sign with nothing cool. So
I gotcha.
But we lived up to it.
Where'd all the other nicknames come from? Just
Oh man, Undisciplined Cowboys was from that op I was telling you guys about, where we were just like doing what, where I got a sergeant major, like top 10 Marines in the world, saying, "What the fuck is that guy?" Undisciplined Cowboys, Cavemen, same thing.
Yeah.
But we were always the belligerent bastards. We're already the magnificent bastards. That's 2-4's thing. We have a seahorse. Super hardcore is our logo, right? But like, I'll never forget my first week in the fleet. We had the battalion commander come over, and we're fresh new boots, wide-eyed, scared, getting hazed, getting assault, like all these things all the time. We're on our first field, first shoot, and we're in a circle doing push-ups and planks and many other things that we can't talk about. But the battalion commander comes over, so we started doing real push-ups. And this Lance Corporal at the time, turned Corporal Kimball at the time, the battalion commander comes and starts doing push-ups with us. And he's like, "All right, guys, I'm slowing down. Like, sorry, can't keep up with you devil dogs, blah, blah." And this Lance Corporal from my squad, the machine gunner, he goes, "It's all right, sir, you'll pay later." This Lance Corporal to this like Lieutenant Colonel. And so Fox Company belligerency was like in our DNA. We made the battalion commander laugh during our like pre-deployment speech. We're about to go to this combat outpost. He's trying to be Mel Gibson from Braveheart. And we're just like heckling him from the back. So Fox Company is its own thing.
Okay.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
That's really
and
cool.
do you have a lot of veterans that come through and do yoga at your studio?
We have a couple, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
But we get a lot of fire and a lot of EMS and a lot of police. I would say our classes are probably 25 to 30% male, which is drastically higher than any other studio.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you think, yoga, I feel like, most of them are going to be majority women.
I know. Aren't you surprised I didn't come here in Lululemon tights?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right?
You came here, That's
a different podcast. Yeah. No, I'm proud of all of it. We have a lot of moms and a lot of teachers and a lot of all these great kinds of people who all will use yoga as medicine. But I'm especially proud of all the males, all the guys, all the EMS, all the veterans, because there is such a stigma. We joke about the Lululemon thing.
But it's true.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the best compliments I ever got was someone came into the studio and their husband said, "Oh, I could do yoga in a studio like this." Because like I have a claymore that's pink and says "Live, Laugh, Love." I have a murdered out teddy bear with NVGs and an assault rifle. Like I have skeletons everywhere. And like, it's not all that. There's lotus flowers and Om symbols and lots of cool stuff, but it's just more middle of the road. Rather than one-sided.
It's a balance between like yogi and warrior.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yoga was a part of my workout program when I was playing baseball. I mean, flexibility is so important, especially with baseball. And I was always taught flexibility equals strength.
Especially in baseball, where everything's getting whipped around and manipulated.
Exactly.
It's very unblocky.
Yes. And so, from the time I was in middle school and until that was always preached, flexibility equals strength. And so yoga was something that we mixed in at a minimum twice a week.
Yeah.
In our workouts. I mean, we had our heavy lifting and strength training and stuff like that, but we would always throw in a yoga workout in there afterwards or something like that.
Well, there's a bunch of studies out there that says the more flexible you are, the more muscle you can pack on because you're creating room for it. And you're creating room for it to grow, and you're changing the different levers and creating different tension things because you're so flexible. And so for any power lifter, any bodybuilder, any athlete out there, stretch or flexibility or yoga a couple times a week or mobility routine, like they tried to do with CrossFit, is great.
Yeah. That's definitely an area that I could improve on, most certainly.
Yeah, I definitely need to get back into it. I'm definitely not as flexible as I used to be.
Well, it's funny because I know a guy.
Yeah,
so
you gotta know a guy who can help us here. Yeah, I was in a good routine for a while where I'd spend like 30 to 40 minutes stretching every night, just like while I was sitting there watching TV, and then I just kind of fell off it. I need to get just back to that because I was feeling so good when I was doing it. It just felt so like pliable and mobile, and like everything just like felt loose.
Yeah, I was the most flexible guy, according to our V-sit reach with the Reds.
Yeah,
that was like the one thing that I was like top at.
The old V-sit,
the presidential fitness
V-sit. No, seriously, they had us do that shit as like our to qualify to pass to get into like practicing. We had a time 2 mile, We had a vertical jump, V-sit reach, sit-ups, shuttle run. What else was there? But yeah, no, I got to a plus 10 past my feet.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I was extremely flexible back in the day.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
so much now.
We're looking at a different thing.
Yeah, way different.
The old, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about yoga is you can keep it in that physical and just get all the benefits from physical.
Yeah.
Or you can take it deeper and get into the mental health and emotional if you want to go that way. Or you can take it deeper into the metaphysical, the spiritual, things like that. But it's just broad, all-encompassing thing that lets you take from it whatever you want. It's not like a specific exercise modality where I do this to get this. It meets you where you're at, you meet it where you're at, and take what you want.
And how have you seen yoga as a whole grow since you've dove into it and got into it?
Personally or like industry?
Both.
My yoga's definitely changed. For me, it was always like, I'm gonna do the most intense class in a hoodie, in a sweatshirt, in a sweatsuit. Like, let's just go. And now all I want to do, I love teaching the restorative classes because if I can take someone from, I just got home from work, everything's miserable. And by the end, they're asleep. Like I keep track of the amount of people I've put to sleep. We're at 21. And
that's awesome.
So that's like a huge thing for me is how zen, how calm can I make people? Because anyone can learn like, all right, do this 20 times and you'll get a good workout. But if I can take someone's nervous system and unwind them after a long day of work and take them from polar opposites, to me, that's the coolest thing.
That's pretty awesome.
And then industry-wide, the fitness industry always goes in waves. Sauna cold plunge is cool. Everyone's doing CrossFit. Things go up and down, wave in and out. Yoga's been one of those ones that's always been around. And so we're seeing a lot more yoga growth, especially in the male space, because it is becoming more normalized. You have podcasts, you have resources being like talking about the benefits of yoga or breath work and different things like that. And so it's definitely growing and seeing a wider audience as opposed to just a larger, skinnier audience. I could mean that almost literally.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is. Well, I kind of want to go back to something you said there. So, you said that, yoga can be more physical. It can be more, you call it metaphysical or
mental health, emotional health.
And then what was the last one you said?
All the way back to the metaphysical, like spiritual.
So like, how does one like transition from like yoga is it just kind of a mental switch that you make? Is it like, okay, I'm here to just get these physical benefits. I want to be flexible, and you're doing it long enough and you start kind of benefiting from the mental health and then kind of move on from there? Or how does it go?
A lot of times it can be inspiratory where it's like, hey, I've been doing yoga for 2 weeks and I'm happier. And they're like, oh, maybe I should look into that. And now we start to bridge the gap out of the yoga studio, out of the physical class, and into I want to learn about the 8 limbs. Oh, I want to learn about the koshas. And then from there, you can go even deeper down the line. But really, a lot of times it's inspiratory to where I came here because my back was tight. But now I'm so relaxed every time I leave, I'm addicted. I have to know more. Or it could be like, hey, intentional self-study. To where I hear everyone saying all these things about how yoga can be beyond physical, and I just take it.
Now, would you say that's similar to bridging the gap between trauma and awareness?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah. Because explain a little more.
Well, there's been, you mentioned the nervous system, and I mean, there's been a lot of big conversations around how the nervous system and the nervous system regulation. So like, how does breath work and yoga bridge that gap between a traumatic experience to get to the awareness aspect of what caused that traumatic experience and helping cope with that?
It creates space. So like you have a graph, right? Mm-hmm. Trauma happens, sympathetic nervous system takes over, parasympathetic nervous system drops. And then it closes that gap back down to the middle, but the lines are never at the same height because you had that trauma. Now the sympathetic is always going to be a little bit more active. But utilizing yoga to unwind that and to close that gap, either through movement, meditation, breath work, is really key. And also the time between trauma and awareness. In yoga, we teach awareness all the time. Where is your breath? Where's your left foot? Can you put your foot behind your head? Can you balance on one foot? There's all this physical awareness, but that can also lead down the line after we unwind that sympathetic traumatic response to awareness back to the trauma. It also allows you to move through it. So what I do now is a workshop called Master the Nervous System, Master Your Life. It's based off polyvagal theory, which is found and studied by Stephen Porges. But all it does is it breaks the nervous system down into 3 parts instead of 2. So you have safe and social, sympathetic, and then you have your bottom, which is your traditional rest and digest. Parasympathetic. So what they found is that you have to go through this sympathetic response in order to move through that trauma up to that, or to get to that safe and social aspect again. So a lot of people won't get that far. A girl just broke up with me. What's the first thing every guy does?
Get on Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay. They go to the gym,
Yeah.
right? Oh, if I had bigger arms, she wouldn't have left me.
Yeah.
I tried that with women too, and they're like, we eat a gallon of ice cream. So I need to figure out a different non-loaded question on that one.
Yeah.
But they only get to this sympathetic, and they never close that gap to the back to the safe and social. So they just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Well, you need to get all the way up to that safe and social, usually through that sympathetic response. So I usually tell people that they have to do something physical. They have to do, I created this little pyramid deal where it's like combat sports is great because 90% sympathetic, 10% parasympathetic. And then after that, you have like CrossFit, still intense, still moving through. Because if you take me and I just had a traumatic thing happen, I tell you, hey, just go lay down, take some deep breaths and don't think about it. Not going to happen, right?
Right.
So you have to move through it. So you have that like CrossFit, which is like 75-25, sympathetic, parasympathetic, moving all the way up to where it's 90-10 the other way, where I can now sit down with my friends and have dinner and not be thinking about the problem or not have the trauma be affecting me. But it's dosed and it's a growth over time. It's not an instantaneous thing. So that's what my current workshop that I've taught at the Teton Yoga Festival on a couple veteran things. I got a veteran retreat coming up next year, has really been centered on is that polyvagal theory and that nervous system.
I gotcha. And you mentioned psilocybin earlier. Have you thought about, have you tried ayahuasca or have you looked into any of that stuff yet? No, for me, that was enough. Okay.
You know, I still every now and again will partake, especially if I need to learn something or if I'm having like a streak of down days with either a microdose, but I'll never go to that level again. So it's just like any other medication to where, you know, I cut my finger, they don't amputate it right away because it could be a paper cut. Right. So I would start with like psilocybin or different things like that. Ayahuasca is, hey, my dad, you know, big T, little t trauma. You could have gone through this crazy trauma, tried all these other ways leading up to it. Now we have to amputate that finger. And now we have to go to that ayahuasca. It shouldn't be the first step.
Gotcha.
I think that's like the most intense one, or either that or Ibogaine.
Ibogaine.
Yeah. Great for veterans because veterans, it's a lot of that big T trauma. It's a lot of that. I've talked to a talk therapist for 10 years and been on all the VA's medications and I'm still angry at my kids, you know?
Yeah.
And so that ayahuasca, it's not that they haven't done all these other things. They've done the titration and the dosage. Now they're trying ayahuasca, right? But for a lot of people, you can probably stop at psilocybin or other things.
Yeah, and get what you need from it.
Yeah. But ayahuasca should not be the first thing you try, drug-wise or healing psychedelic-wise.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some more smaller steps you should take first.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Just like any other medicine.
Yeah.
Because we've got a buddy that's come on that's been on it twice, a hockey guy from Lindbergh, Jake Baldwin, or not Jake, Nick Baldwin.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Hey, he trains at Watson.
Yeah, I know Nick. Yeah, I didn't know he was a hockey guy. How did I go this whole time not knowing he was a hockey guy?
He's a hockey guy.
Yeah.
So Nick, we've had him on, and he's big into ayahuasca, and I think he does it once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he also takes.
It does like retreats and stuff.
Yeah, where he's the
he's the guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy in Missouri.
Yeah,
for it for sure.
Yeah.
So. Nick's great.
No, he's awesome.
He's the one who got me more into the cold plunge and the ice bath and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude,
He's a good dude.
Stuff's huge. I love it. Like I just did it this morning.
Yeah, did you show them around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Nice to come up here and have those amenities to be able to use.
It is. It just creates less of those excuses.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
making
100%.
sure your gym is in between your work and your home so
Yeah.
that every time you have to pass it and look at
Right.
yourself and be like, why am I not going to the gym?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because like I always talking about breath work. Like I was like, I'm like, dude, fucking breathe.
Yeah, I
See
know.
his ass in the cold tub, and he's like, I'm like, fucking breathe, dude. Don't look at the
Fucking hate it.
clock. Just breathe.
What's a really special muscle?
Yeah.
To have a sympathetic activity that thinks you're dying, but be able to be calm in it.
Dude, I get in there.
And so that crazy like limbo in between, if you can master that physiology and master that mechanism, what else is there?
Yeah. I'm
Right.
like, dude, just fucking box breath. Just count to 5 100 times and you're done. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, I'll get in there and I'll rip out 5 minutes with no problem, just sitting there doing
Yeah.
box breaths. And I don't even think about it. Just sit there and literally focus on my breath and counting to 5.
It's weird
Over
though,
and over and
because
over
the ith is like HRV. Like it could be affected by a bad night's sleep
Mhm.
Yeah.
or not eating properly the day before, things like that, because it's so tied into your nervous system. And so there's hope. There's hope yet.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, today I did fine today, but like I think it helped because someone like walked in the gym like right as I got in, and so we just like chit chatted the whole time, and before I knew it, the timer was going off, and so I got out. But
How long did you go?
2.5.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so not
Yeah.
quite at 5 minutes yet, but you know.
Yeah.
But hey, I can sit in a sauna a hell of a lot longer than him. So.
Yeah.
I live in the sauna.
Yeah,
Just
the
throw me
sauna's
in that thing
my-
all day.
I can chill in there. That's,
I would so much rather be in the cold plunge than the
What?
sauna. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, no
Oh,
way.
yeah. I mean, I 15 minutes in the sauna. So we do 15 minutes in the sauna and then we'll do the cold plunge. And I usually will do anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge and then we go back.
Yeah,
do
we're
that
doing 3 rounds.
3 rounds. And I mean, by minute 10, I'm like, Jesus, this fucking sucks.
I'm in
Get
there
me-
pouring water on the rocks and shit.
steam and like my eyes are burning, my nose is burning. And so, yeah, but then like, as soon as I hop in, I'm like, I could stay here.
Oh no.
I love that shit.
Have you ever done it for like 15, 20 minutes?
I have not. No.
Oh,
Five.
do not do it.
No, well, that's what I've told. Like I've been told like anything longer than like 10 minutes is bad for you.
Well, 3 minutes is like the evidence-based protocol. That's where all the
Right.
science and shit is.
When I
Gotcha.
say
But like I've done it for 10 to 15 minutes and just hijacked my dopamine for like a week
Really?
where I was just like, felt like a runaway train where it's just like, oh man, we're just going all week. There's no stopping this. I was like, I should not have sat in the ice bath for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's what did it.
I think by the time we're done with it, I mean, it's a total of about 10 to 15 minutes that I'm in there, but it's split up with 15-minute segments of
And
that
warming back up.
fucking sauna.
Yeah.
Fuck that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, today I only,
I know, I
only
hate
did the
that.
one round. I just did the hot cold and then jumped in the shower. But yeah, I mean, I need to get back to doing. We were doing that like
Same,
3 days a week before the IBJJF. I did it for like 3 weeks, like 3 days a week, and
Yeah.
it felt fucking
Yeah,
incredible.
it's the best night's sleep I get.
Yeah,
when I
and we do it
that.
at night too.
Mhm.
Come
Yeah.
up here at like 8 o'clock, and just do that for an hour, and then go home and go to bed. And fucking sleep like a
Well, I mean,
baby.
think about it, especially for jujitsu, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
It's jujitsu. You have someone in a triangle and they're stacking you. You're in that stimulus response of sympathetic. I need to get out of here. My spine's about to crack, but I'm about to win.
right.
But you have to stay calm. It's the same as staying in an ice bath of, oh my God, this is freezing. I have to breathe and stay calm. So it's that little special muscle that helps you stay calm under stress.
Yeah, just practicing that muscle. The more you use it, the better it's gonna
Mhm.
get. Oh, I want to go back to one thing you said, just because I didn't know what it meant. You referred to the 8 legs and the other word you said,
The 8 limbs of yoga.
8 limbs, and then what was you said like
Koshas.
Koshas, that's what it was. What are those?
So those are just different parts of yoga.
Okay.
And so the 8 limbs of yoga gets into more of the philosophy side. And it's like what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should live your life, cleanliness, truthfulness, self-study, different things like that. And then the koshas are your actual like physiology. So in yoga and in a lot of different religions and lives and things like that, they think that you're like a soul inhabiting like this meat robot suit, right? And so with the koshas, it's all about the layers of being. So like your physical layer, then you have your energy layer, which is like your breath and your heart rate and your circulatory system. Then you have your monkey mind, that base level intelligence. Then you have your higher mind, which is actually like starting to make decisions. And then above that, you have your bliss body, which is like what makes you happy, what's your purpose in life, what's your dharma, what's your soul. And so that's where you really take yoga off the mat, or you use yoga as therapy. Like, sure, I can use a physical practice of yoga to help someone with, like, I'm doing yoga to you rather than you like being part of this. Like a doctor working on someone, right? You come in, I give you a yoga sequence, and then that's going to affect your nervous system the way I want. But if you really want to get targeted and see people for specific problems or solve a specific thing, the koshas and the 8 limbs, that's where you make your money in yoga philosophy.
Okay.
Or if you want to take yoga deeper, that's where you start.
Okay.
Gotcha. Now, how often a week do you recommend someone does yoga versus other types of training?
Yeah, yoga's awesome because there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, my legs are deathly sore, I can't squat again today, right? So yoga's like sharpening the sword. It's
Gotcha.
like every day, and it could look different.
Yeah.
You know, today I wake up and I want more discipline, so I do hatha yoga where I hold a pose for 2 minutes and I don't escape. Or I want more relaxation, so I do restorative yoga. Or I do a mix of both, movement, stretch, chill, not chill, meditate. You know, it's very responsive and very interchangeable. But yoga is a practice. It just daily becomes a part of your life. And that's just the asana, the physical side. You know, cleanliness or truthfulness. Those are other things you can practice outside of that yoga room. But the physical practice, do that every day. Yeah.
Okay. So, and what does your training schedule look like these days?
I'm a psychopath
Okay.
who runs a little bit more sympathetic, so this is not recommended. But I usually wake up and then I go right to deadlift, because you can strength lift every day because you're attacking the mitochondria. You're not attacking the muscles like for hypertrophy. So I wake up, I wear my athletic clothes to bed. I wake up, I go deadlift for strength. So either a 6 rep max, 4 rep max, 2 rep max, blah, blah, blah.
You're
Then
deadlifting every day?
Every day.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to have like a 400-pound deadlift, and now I don't have it ever since that concussion where I couldn't work out for like 2 or 3 years. So I'm trying to build back up to it. But in a lot of the neuroscience and things that's coming out now about longevity, it's all about the mitochondria. So how do you attack the mitochondria from a fitness standpoint? You attack it through strength. When your body has to use every powerhouse in the cell to lift that deadlift, that's where you make your money and grow those mitochondria and hopefully have longevity benefits in the end. So that's why I do it. So I do bench squat deadlift for strength every morning. And then I'll usually sit in the sauna or do some kind of meditation, breath work, things like that. And then I'll either go to yoga at like 6 a.m. or I'll just go straight to the gym and do like a nice bro bodybuilder lift. Then I'll always end with like 45 minutes to an hour of sauna. And then on top of that, I teach yoga classes, take yoga classes, go to jujitsu 2 to 3 times per week. I'm in a yoga class or teaching one like every day or more. And then, yeah. So all that.
Do you guys do the hot yoga stuff at your studio?
That's what we primarily do. We do the hot yoga.
Okay.
Which is great for using that sympathetic response to move out of that depression into that safe and social, as well as like seasonal affective disorder that's going to be coming up with everybody. Like, you got to get some heat.
Yeah, I'd hate that.
Yeah.
How hot is it?
Most of our classes are warm. They start at 95.
Oh, that wouldn't be bad. As long as
You say that.
Well,
But it's like holding your breath underwater sitting still versus holding your breath while you're swimming underwater. Two very different things. So 95 picks up pretty quick.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean,
But no, it's totally great. You should come do it. It won't be death.
yeah. I mean, I'll do it. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll show up. We should go take a class for
should.
sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm definitely down. I've always wanted to do hot yoga. I just have never just gone and done it.
I guess I'm just thinking of like 195 in that fucking sauna and
Right.
how miserable. I'm like, 100 degrees less? I could do that.
Right. That's just like a hot
Well, it's-
summer
yeah.
day.
It's different because everyone gets scared of the heat, but it adds that little bit of challenge, especially for former or current athletes where they need some kind of challenge. If I take you as a former athlete to a normal yoga class and I'm like, all right, you can hear everybody breathing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be stretching for long amounts of time. The temperature is perfect. Now you're thinking about your day. But with hot yoga, you get that little bit of survival complex that makes you focus.
Gotcha.
It makes you more present. and that little bit of challenge that your mind has to solve that can engage a little bit more.
I also think about fucking rolling at Watson's in the summer, and it's hot as fuck in there too.
It's less than that. Less than that by a lot.
Wow. So how do you heat the room?
We have infrared panels.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we have infrared dry or ceiling panels that look like those lights.
Okay.
And then a few on the wall.
Cool. And so all your classes are hot yoga?
No, we have a few unheated. So we have meditation every Monday in the evening. And then we have meditation 8:30 on Wednesdays. And then we have deep stretch, which is just a stretch class, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7.
Okay.
And then we have 8:30 relaxed class if you want a Zen morning instead of like a get up and go like crazy town morning like I usually do. We have that. But so it's a nice balance.
So you got a lot of class options.
Exactly. Our biggest ones right now are the yoga with weights, sculpt and flow, and our Pilates ones, our yoga and Pilates ones too.
Pilates, that's on like one of those boards, right?
It can be.
Okay.
But they have mat Pilates too, where it's essentially just like body weight movement, but with lighter weights or bands or circle bands, things like that.
Yeah, I always see those videos. What's that board called that they're on that slides?
Reformer.
Yeah,
And then you have
Reformer.
what's the really nice place in Brentwood? It's
It's a True Fusion. There's that one. Then
there's
they
the standing
have-
ones that's like Legree,
Okay.
which is a mega former.
I gotcha.
And then you have Pilates, which is like the bed looking table.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, because it's always funny. I saw a video of the girlfriends or wives of professional athletes bring their professional athlete husbands or boyfriends to do Pilates with them, and it's pretty funny watching those fucking big ass strong dudes fucking around and not
Being able
being able to do
Oh,
it.
dude, that's my favorite thing in the world is when someone will bring in specifically a CrossFit friend
Mhm.
where they're coming in head to toe rogue.
Yeah.
Like they're in the front of the classroom, even though it's first ever
Chalking
yoga
up their
class.
hands
Yeah.
before they.
Yeah. And as I said, I love
Get the weight-
CrossFit.
get
I
the
love
weight belt
CrossFit. I
out.
love CrossFit people, but we all know we make jokes.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for
We're
sure.
both
But
CrossFit
they
people.
come in, they're decked out rogue head to toe. They got a 6-pack. And then within like 3 to 4 minutes, like we're in the very beginning, they're fucked. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
now like we're in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no muscle ups in here, buddy.
There's no ego in here because
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
asked you to
shit.
put your foot behind your head and you couldn't do it.
No.
You know?
I know I'm not doing that.
No way. Man, that's funny. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the same way with jiu-jitsu. Nothing better than like the big meathead dude that comes in and thinks he's tough.
oh, especially back in the day when it was like wrestlers versus jujitsu.
Yeah.
And the wrestler would come in and just try to pin you and really like, I'm cool here, man.
Yeah, this doesn't hurt.
This doesn't do
You
anything.
can hold me here all you want.
This isn't a win.
Yeah. In your sport, this is a win. In this sport, not a win.
Nope.
Yeah. Like, oh, you wrestled. I want you to take me down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're in my world.
That was always the fun times back before people knew a lot about jujitsu. If you knew jujitsu back in the day,
Mhm.
no one else did.
Yeah.
Like my first one was at some little shopping mall martial arts place. My instructor ended up only being a blue belt under Kyle. I found out years later.
Mhm.
And then like
And he had his own place.
he had his own place.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it started off as an MMA class, but he didn't like getting punched in the face, so it became a jiu-jitsu class. And then the only other people in the gym was the MOBAP rugby team.
Okay.
So, which is why my game is mostly butterfly guard and how I got so good at butterfly guard and measuring weight and like balance is because if 140-pound high school Tim is trying to tip over the 350-pound 20-year-old rugby player, like
Mhm.
it's going to take a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So how much better has your jujitsu gotten because of yoga?
They're so intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that goes to Eddie Bravo. Back in the day, Eddie Bravo did rubber guard, and he used to put out these crazy instructionals where it was like half cholo rap video, half him smoking weed, and then there was like rubber guard mixed in between, which was hilarious.
Who was that? Was it Sean Woodson's coach that was on the last, and he just kept his fucking his legs over his head the whole fucking time.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it him?
Yeah, Mop.
Andrew,
Mop.
Mop.
Yeah.
yeah. Mop's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's super flexible.
I was like,
Oh yeah,
I'm watching this. I'm like, Jesus, there's no way you're not gonna be able to submit this fucking guy. Every joint in his body bends every different direction.
Yeah, man.
but yeah, dude, flexibility in yoga, and then like we talked about the like emotional side where I have someone in a triangle, and they're stacking me, and I can't breathe. Well, in yoga, I've been in all these crazy contortions, and I can breathe. So now I'm cool. I'm chilling. Stack me all day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not
I've been
gonna
here
matter.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tim, this has been great having you in here, man. Is there anything we didn't get to that you wanted to chat about?
We can go have a drink and do some more war stories.
Yeah.
But and do those all night. But really, I built a sauna van.
Really?
Yeah. So I built a van life van and I turned it into a sauna.
Okay.
/ selfishly van life van.
Okay.
So it does have a bed in it that pulls out. But right now we're doing mobile sauna and ice bath.
That's
Oh,
cool.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Huh.
Yeah. So building a sauna into a van that doesn't explode. Super tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that's awesome. So how long, or have you even like putting on events and stuff with that, or how does
We
it
just started
you
it.
just
So
started
we
it,
just
yeah.
had our first event a few weeks ago, and then we got our second event with F45 out in Chesterfield.
Okay.
Sweet.
And so that's what we're up to at the studio, is starting to push that thing, although it's winter. So it was kind of like, hey, this is here. And we're going to switch to once a month until it gets warm again, because no one wants to go from cold to cold.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Tell the listeners where pitch Foxco and tell them where they can find you and socials and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course. So if you want a different kind of yoga studio, clearly I don't look like your average yogi, and we're not an average studio, right?
Mhm.
So if you're looking for a different change of pace, our classes are always fun and creative. The other day we had them doing kick throughs and animal flow and all kinds of crazy stuff. Or if you're someone who's felt uncomfortable at another yoga studio, we're probably a good bet for you, especially fire, EMS, military, all those things.
Okay.
Sweet.
And then we have our 300-hour teaching coming up. We're finalizing the schedule. So if you're a yoga teacher and you're looking to get that next level of education, and you've liked what we talked about here today and getting deeper, it's pretty much yoga therapy light. So we have yoga therapy for the first half, and then the second half is going to be the best asana teacher you can. So teaching with the elements, the chakras, all these different things, teaching with animal flow, all these different things. So if you're a yoga teacher, sign up for our 300-hour in the coming months, or sauna van.
Awesome. What are your socials?
You can find us at Foxco Yoga or at our website, foxcoyoga.com.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Perfect, man.
Well, before we get you out of here, we always end the show the same way every time. So
Play a little game called the Tombstone Game. You're last.
This is one of those mafia games that I've never been able to figure out since I was like 8 years old, is it?
No.
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple. Here lies Tim. What's it say on your tombstone?
The only motto I've ever gone and known by is every night's Friday night, every morning's Monday morning.
There you go.
It's great. I love
Perfect,
it.
man.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Tim. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks to everybody at home that watched or listened to this episode. If you couldn't, please hit that subscribe button for us. We have a goal to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube before the end of 2025. So help us hit that goal, hit that subscribe button, comment what you thought below, share this episode with a friend, and we will see you next time.